Hi there, I'm Christy Lewis, and I work with a library on the teen summer reading program. And I've had a lot of parents asking me for book recommendations for their teenagers. What's popular with the teens? What can I give my teen? That kind of thing. I've been reading book reviews from the teenagers from last year's summer reading program, which was 2014. And I've been talking to the teens a lot this year, 2015, and hearing what they're reading. So that's what this video is going to be about whatever's popular with right now. And also I'm going to offer two recommendations of my own, even though they aren't necessarily talked about in my particular library. I know they're popular online. So let's get started. One series that's really popular still, it's called the City of Bones series by Cassandra Clare. And this isn't my favorite series, but it's been really popular for a long time. It's got 6 books, so it's kind of an epic length series, and it's actually urban fantasy, which means it's set in the modern day, but it's an epic battle between good and evil, which is almost more like a high fantasy theme. So it's a great adventure. All 6 books. I've actually only read 4 of them, but they're really good adventures. So, and really, the world is what's so amazing. The main conflict is between demons and teenagers who train as demon hunters. And there's a lot of Milton's Paradise Lost-esque feels to it, and it's just a really great world. So, and there's a lot of prequel material. There's a trilogy, a prequel trilogy, which I actually liked better, and novellas and short stories galore. So, really popular series. I've talked to kids about City of Bones this summer. It's really popular, and it was popular last summer too. So, some of the really smart kids in the group really like City of Bones. So that would be a great one for any teen who likes stories of the fantastic, or even if they don't, maybe they'll be interested by the series into the fantastic. So, and speaking of the fantastic, there's another fantasy series that is really popular with teenagers and middle grade readers, which are 6th through 8th grade. That's what I refer to as middle grade. Sometimes can be younger. But Percy Jackson by Rick Riordan. Riordan, I don't know how you pronounce that exactly. But they are very popular with teens and middle grade readers. And the cool thing about them is they really bring Greek mythology to life. So really fun. Very funny is what I hear. I've read most of the first one. I actually haven't finished it yet, but it's really funny and a really fun adventures. The characters are fun. So that's another really popular one right now. I read reviews last year. The teens were reading it. Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. This was one of my favorite series when I was a kid and a teen. So funny and so clever. So Artemis Fowl is this evil boy genius who's actually not really that evil. He's just really funny. And there's fairies and all kinds of really good stuff. So I was reading reviews of that from last year's. Just because some of these were last year's faves instead of this year's doesn't mean teens aren't reading them this year. The Artemis Fowl series is pretty old, you know. I mean, it's been around for a while, so don't knock it because it's old. It's great. Last year, another popular dystopian series, especially with the teen girls, was the Matched trilogy. And it has a really cute love story. I liked the first book a lot. I didn't like the second book so much. I actually haven't read the third book. But the teens seem to really like it, and it's kind of light. It's not as graphic or gruesome as the Hunger Games. So if you like your dystopias about love and not necessarily death and killing each other, then that might be a good option for your teen. And so I think it's probably good for younger readers too, because It's not so graphic. So what else? Let's see. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. It's really popular, probably because of the movie, but even before that, it was really popular. Really, because John Green is just really popular. I personally don't understand. I don't really like John Green. I think he's ridiculous with his profanity, and I think it's over the top. But that's just my opinion. A lot of people love John Green, so that might be something to check out. I would say definitely teenagers, definitely not middle grade readers. I would not hand The Fault in Our Stars to a middle grade reader. But one of our youngest teens, I think she's in 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, said she read the book, loved it, saw the movie, loved it. So you never know. He is one of the most popular young adult authors out there. Just not a personal fave of mine. I tend to like fantasy. So, or if I'm reading contemporary, I like the romances, the cute little boy-girl stuff. So, just not my style. I was talking to a girl this year, so that's still very popular right now. Okay, moving on. Among the Hidden by Margaret Haddix. That is a really popular one with teens and middle grade readers because they're kind of short, but they're also really great adventures. It's a dystopian series, and the first book, which is the only one, no, I've read the first two. The first one was the one I really liked, but a lot of people have read the whole series and they liked that one too. It's set in the future America where families can only have 2 kids, but it's set. The book is told from the point of view of a third child, and he has to stay hidden, and it's just this awesome adventure. Yeah, great book. Definitely good for the boys. Definitely good for boys who don't love to read. It's one of those reluctant reader type books. Was one of last year's reviews was where the teens were talking about that. So, great series for kids and teens. One that surprised me, the My America series. I guess they're historical fiction diaries. I never read historical fiction when I was a kid. I was like, swords, man! Historical fiction wasn't my thing, but like 3 girls were talking about the My America series and also, what is it? The Royal Diaries? Yeah, both of those apparently historical diaries. My America series is writing from different parts in American history, like Jamestown, and the Royal Diary series, female royals writing diaries. So really, I guess they're really popular. I guess our teens like this historical fiction, which is awesome. If we can get teens interested in history, that is really cool. So I'm really happy that our teens are interested. Another diary going on right now is the ever popular Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You've heard of this one, I'm sure. I haven't heard a lot of the older teens talking about this, but a lot of the younger ones are reading this, the 6th through 8th grade, which are part of the teen program. So, very funny apparently. Haven't read it myself, but very popular by Jeff Kinney. That's the author's name. The Ranger's Apprentice series. This high fantasy was written by John Flanagan and reviewed by a teen last year. It's really long, and I'm willing to bet great adventures there. I haven't read that one, although I'm thinking about it because I've actually heard about it from a few different places, and I love fantasy. So if you have a boy who loves fantasy, a girl, tell them about this series. This is really popular. And if the author is writing 15 books or however many crazy number of books he has written, then you know they're good because they're that popular. The publisher is paying for him to write all these books. So you know they're selling really well. So another series, well, not really a series, an author that a lot of girls are reading, anything by Meg Cabot. She is supposedly very funny, and she's the one who wrote The Princess Diaries. If you've seen that movie, it's really funny. I liked it as a teen. I was more of a blonde boy, so it wasn't my favorite thing. But the books are like bright pink, and Meg Cabot sounds like a really fun teen girl author. Several girl teens were writing reviews about Meg Cabot's books last year, young and old. Um, there's Teen Idol, The Princess Diaries, and All American Girl. Those are really the books that I was seeing talked about. So those have been popular for a while, and I imagine they'll continue to be popular as Meg Cabot continues to write. One girl last year surprised me. She read 2 books by H.G. Wells, classic fantasy, well, science fiction. Yeah. I haven't read these, which puts me to shame. She was reading The Time Machine and War of the Worlds. Yeah, go teen. Classics, great stuff. She's like, I guess she was probably 14 or maybe 15. So, never too young to start on the classics. What else? Oh yeah. This goes without saying, I think, but the Hunger Games and the Harry Potter books are still popular. Big surprise. So those are always good ones. Give them to reluctant readers. I haven't heard anybody talking about Twilight lately, but that's probably a safe go-to guess as well. Oh, and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Vampires are still pretty popular. So, okay. And then, I wanted to throw in 2 of my own picks, even though I haven't heard them talking about these so much. But the first one is The False Prince, which is a trilogy, and it's both middle grade and teen appropriate. It's pretty popular online. The False Prince is so cute. The characters are really fun. The adventure is really fun. It's not really bloody. There's not really magic. It's mostly just kings and queens and castle intrigue. I've heard it referred to online as castle intrigue. So, I think that's a good way to put it. You know, there's question about who the heir is, and the main character is so funny. So, the great series. And then the other series that I wanted to tell you about, The Immortals Quartet by Tamora Pierce, which is an older series, and my second favorite series by Tamora Pierce, who is famous for her fantasy. It's a really great series, and it's kind of been more popular lately because one of the beloved characters, Numair Salmaline, is getting his own series, and it's big news because the series has been in the works for years. I have been waiting for this series probably since I was about 15. And I'm 23 now. 15, 23, it's a long time coming. So, there's a lot of people just like me who are really excited about this Numair Salmaline series coming out. So, The Immortals Quartet. It's about this girl who finds out she has magic inside of her, and it's kind of dangerous unless she learns to control it. So she meets all these friends who help her learn how to control it, and she ends up saving the kingdom of Tortal, which becomes her new home. And it's just really fun. Great high fantasy, good for middle grade and young adult audiences, complete with dragons, shape-shifting, wolf packs, great nature writing, by the way. Tamora Pierce's nature writing in all of her fantasy books is awesome. Kings and queens, and best of all, that tapestry of magic. Her portrayal of magic is just really cool. So, good for teens, good for kids. I started reading those when I was probably 13 or so, and I still love them. They're awesome. Great fantasy. So, yeah, those are what teens are reading and what I would recommend for your teen readers. Hope that helps. Have a good summer reading program. Goodbye.